And we have some breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Out of the NFL, where Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is expected to return next week against the Steelers. That's all according to ESPN. Tagovailoa missed last Sunday's loss against the Jets with a concussion and will be out this weekend against the Vikings as well. Now, ESPN reports that Tua was unanimously cleared by 4 independent doctors. He'll be back under the spotlight next Sunday night when the Fins host the Steelers in prime time. And here to break down this breaking news out of the Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa, we do want to welcome in our NFL expert, Ryan Wilson. So, Ryan, what are your initial thoughts on Tua starting against the Steelers in prime time?
I think it's great news in the sense, Jacqueline, that Tua was not rushed back into the field, and we just saw that hit that landed him in the concussion protocol, presumably the first time, because 4 days prior to that, in that Bills game on that Sunday prior to that Thursday night game against the Bengals, we know that he took that hit from Matt Milano and was wobbly, and that was sold as a back injury. In retrospect, I think the NFL would certainly like a do-over on that, and probably, in fairness to Tua and keeping him healthy, the Dolphins would as well. But things have changed, clearly. We've seen in the subsequent weeks how players have been removed from games and not returned, including Teddy Bridgewater, where there was some issue about whether he was actually concussed. I don't think it matters, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from the last month of the season involving head injuries. Chris Olave in that Saints game recently looked to be unconscious for a second or two. He came out of the game, didn't return as well, and I think that's the overarching story. Specifically for the Dolphins, they were 3-0 going into that Thursday night game with the Bengals. They lost that game. Teddy Bridgewater came in. Teddy Bridgewater started the next week and wasn't in very long before he was removed for rookie Skylar Thompson. And Skylar Thompson's only on the team, Jacqueline, because he balled out so incredibly well during the preseason that they had a tough time cutting him. So they kept him on the roster smartly. He earned that roster spot, and now he'll get a start in the game this week ahead of next week's matchup in Miami against the Steelers, which will also be the first time Brian Flores returns to Miami when Tua takes the field once again.
Yeah, so you mentioned that they were 3-0 going in against the Bengals there. Now, with Tua getting back in against the Steelers, do you think it's a way that the Dolphins can kind of get back on track there for that game?
Yeah, so they're playing the Vikings this week. Tomorrow, Skylar Thompson will get that start. In worst case, they're going to be 3-3, and that's just the reality of it. We'll see how Mike McDaniel tries to lean on that running game. But the good news is, and it's incredible to say this as we head into Week 6, looking forward to Week 7, that Steelers game, followed by the Lions and Bears, those are going to be get-right games for a Dolphins team that started off so strong. And it's, what world are we living in where you play the Steelers as your homecoming schedule team to win by 50. So I think Tua comes back that game, and it's easy to forget the first 3 weeks. Tua was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Tyreek Hill was thriving. Jalen Waddle was thriving. That offense as a whole looked incredibly much better than what we saw last season. So I think if Tua is close to 100% in terms of not being rusty from the time away, and obviously he's cleared the concussion protocol, the Steelers are banged up on defense, their offense isn't very good, I think that could be a game that you build upon. Even if you go in there 3-3, a month out from now, you could very easily be 6-3 with the games remaining on that schedule.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. If you're just joining us here on HQ, Tua Tagovailoa, QB for the Dolphins, is returning against the Steelers.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.